The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time, in a big green forest, there lived many animals. Two of these animals were very different. One was a tortoise named Tim. Tim was slow and quiet. The other was a hare named Hare. Hare was fast and loud. Tim the tortoise liked to walk slowly. He enjoyed looking at the flowers and trees. He said hello to all the animals he met. Everyone liked Tim because he was kind and friendly. Hare the hare was always in a hurry. He ran everywhere. He thought he was the fastest animal in the forest. Hare often laughed at Tim for being slow. One sunny day, Hare saw Tim walking by the river. Hare said, "Hey, Tim, you are so slow. I bet I can run to the big oak tree before you can even take 10 steps. Tim looked at Hare and smiled. He said, "Maybe you are right, Hare, but I think I can win a race against you." Hare laughed very loudly. "You? Win a race against me? That's so funny. Okay, let's have a race tomorrow. All the animals can watch. Then everyone will see how fast I am." Tim nodded and said, "Okay, Hare, we will race tomorrow. See you then." Tim walked away slowly. The next day, all the animals in the forest came to watch the race. They were excited. Most of them thought Hare would win easily, but some animals hoped Tim would win. They didn't like how Hare was always boasting. A wise old owl named Oliver was the judge. He stood on a big rock and said, "The race will start here. You must run to the big oak tree and back. The first one to touch this rock wins. Are you ready?" Hare jumped up and down. "I'm ready. I'm going to win so easily." Tim just nodded and said, "I'm ready too." Oliver the owl shouted, "On your marks, get set, go." Hare ran very fast. In a few seconds, he was far ahead of Tim. Tim just kept walking at his usual slow pace. Hare looked back and saw Tim far behind. He laughed and said, "I'm so fast. I have lots of time. I can take a little nap under this tree." So Hare lay down under a tree and closed his eyes. He fell asleep quickly. Tim saw Hare sleeping, but he didn't stop. He kept walking slowly but steadily. Step by step, he got closer to the big oak tree. The other animals watched and cheered for Tim. They said, "Don't give up, Tim. Keep going." Tim reached the big oak tree and started walking back. Hare was still sleeping. Some animals wanted to wake Hare up, but Oliver the owl said, "No, that's not fair. This is part of the race." Tim kept walking. He was tired, but he didn't stop. He could see the finish line now. Suddenly, Hare woke up. He saw Tim near the finish line. Hare jumped up and started running very fast, but it was too late. Tim touched the big rock just as Hare reached it. All the animals cheered loudly. Tim won! Tim won the race! Hare couldn't believe it. He said, But, I'm the fastest. How did I lose?" Oliver the owl flew down and said, "Hare, being fast is good, but it's not everything. Tim won because he never gave up. He kept going, even when it was hard." Tim smiled at Hare and said, You are very fast, Hare, but sometimes slow and steady wins the race. Maybe we can be friends and teach each other." Hare felt bad for laughing at Tim before. He said, "You're right, Tim. I'm sorry I was mean to you. You are a great runner because you don't give up. Can you teach me to be patient like you?" Tim nodded happily. "Of course, Hare. And maybe you can teach me to run a little faster sometimes." From that day on, Tim and Hare became good friends. They often ran together in the forest. Hare learned to be more patient, and Tim learned to be a bit faster. All the animals in the forest learned an important lesson too. They learned that it's not about being the fastest or the slowest. It's about trying your best and never giving up. And so, the tortoise and the hare lived happily in the forest, teaching all the animals about friendship, patience, and perseverance. The end.